The story kicks off at an arts high school, one of those places that looks all polished and put together on the outside, with everyone walking around smiling and acting deep and artsy. But there's one person who is completely out of place in all that soft energy. G. She keeps to herself, shuts down every single invitation, and has exactly one goal in life: study hard and be the best. Full stop. Meanwhile, two girls who are way more into gossip than grades start spreading the word that a transfer student is on her way in from Japan. And just like that, they go full speculation mode, spinning all kinds of dramatic backstories about this mystery girl like they're writing a thriller script. Reality checks them pretty hard though, because when the new student actually shows up, she's nothing like what they cooked up in their heads. Hannah walks in, warm, gentle, polished, completely obsessed with Korean culture, K-pop, and dramas, and already trying to make friends with literally everyone. The two gossip girls just stand there like, okay, we were way off. The teacher is immediately charmed by how sweet Hannah is, and right at that moment, G shows up. The school's top student, always #1 in everything, and she wastes no time cutting the welcome moment short because she has zero interest in Hannah sticking around any longer than necessary. When Hannah ends up sitting next to G, the two gossip girls nearly lose it because they swear they caught G smile. And if G smiled, the world is genuinely changing. Then a flashback drops in to explain why G ever let Hannah that close in the first place. In the flashback, G is leaving her after-school class and Ian, her boyfriend and classmate, is there waiting for her, all attentive, carrying her bag like a proper gentleman. But the very next day he goes completely off the grid, phone off, and G finds him eating with Hannah, a girl she hasn't even met yet. G immediately switches into full jealous girlfriend mode, pulls Ian away and starts accusing him of sneaking around behind her back. Ian tries to explain that Hannah reached out through a mutual contact from Japan, and since he talked about G constantly, Hannah wanted to meet her. In the end, it's clear the whole thing was just a misunderstanding, and G jumped straight to conclusions. She ends up embarrassed for reacting that fast. She goes back, properly introduces herself to Hannah, and the flashback closes on that moment as their actual first real meeting. Back in the present, G decides to give Hannah a tour of the school. They walk through the directing department, everyone deep in studio work, then past the acting department, where the students are already carrying themselves like they're on a red carpet, and finally reach the management department, which basically trains you to become an artist's manager. Hannah spots an old movie poster with a kid actor on it, and wonders out loud if he grew up to be some kind of heartthrob. G confirms it. The kid is actually a student there right now. That's when we properly meet Ian, described as the best-looking guy in the entire school, dripping with charisma, with girls absolutely losing their minds every time he walks through the door. He always rolls with his crew. Kai, the sweet one with a genuine heart of gold, Owen, who's already internet famous with over 200K followers, and G herself, rounding out the four. And since G is Ian's girlfriend, she's pretty generous with the compliments about the whole group. The school basically turns into a screaming crowd every time they pass through, like they're a group of idols at a fan event. In the middle of all that organized chaos, Hannah starts getting closer to the group because she's always around G and already has a connection to Ian. And there's one small detail that turns out to matter more than anyone expected. Hannah carries a little stuffed animal clipped to her bag named Koza, and she never lets go of it for anything. She shows up at school every day completely amazed by everything around her, snapping photos of every corner. At one point she takes a selfie, and Ian ends up in the frame, and she immediately goes full fan mode. Ian responds in pure iceberg mode, like compliments are just something that happens on a random Tuesday for him. In another moment, Kai shows up thirsty, and he casually drops that he's been watching Hannah for a whole week and that her bag looks like a walking convenience store. Ian, for example, gets fan gifts and handles them the way most people handle mail. He picks them up, passes them off to his friends, and keeps it moving. Hannah also ends up genuinely impressed by G for the whole books and studying thing. And when G mentions the library, Hannah proves she's stubborn in the best possible way. If she locks onto a goal, She will find a way to make it happen, no matter what. At the library, Kai runs into Hana and starts lightly messing with her, doing little magic tricks with candy and playing on how trusting she is. It's the kind of playful teasing that keeps the scene fun, but it's also pretty obvious he thinks she's incredibly cute. After that, the teacher splits everyone into groups for a semester project, because at this school grades come from projects and performances, not written tests. Hana lands in a group with Kai and Ethan. Ethan immediately lets out this sigh of someone who already knows he's going to be carrying the whole group. And on top of that, he looks down on Hana for coming from a regular school. The teacher shuts him down on the spot, tells him to drop the attitude, and asks Ji to look after Hana if she needs guidance. Hana, completely unfiltered, runs to Ji right after class and acts like she's the only lifeline she has on the planet. But Ji, being the rational one, reminds her it's a group project and she has her own things to take care of. Then the guys organize a basketball game, and Hana wants to go watch. Ji doesn't go because she has training and because in her mind, school always comes first no matter what. And honestly, Ji at this point is that person you respect and find frustrating at the same time because she's technically right, but she's also completely shut down to the world. Meanwhile, Hana is at the court going absolutely all out, little sign and everything, hyping them up like she's a one-person cheer squad. Ethan tells her to relax because they're gonna win anyway. Hana stays in full hype mode regardless. After the game, there's a surprise. The group takes Hana to a secret practice spot and throws her a little welcome party to celebrate her making it into the school. She gets genuinely emotional and says no one has ever done anything like that for her. Kai teases her about it, like he genuinely can't believe someone this easy to love doesn't have a big group of people around her. And Hana gets all shy, squeezing Koza on her bag strap. Ethan stumbles into the middle of it all, without reading the room, bumps into Hana by accident, and Owen is already filming it like content is content, without Ethan even noticing. The story takes a sharp turn when it cuts to a flashback set in Japan. An investigation comes up involving an old case connected to a student with a really painful outcome, and Hana's name shows up right in the middle of it. Instead of going into the heavy details, the only thing that matters here is this. There's a complicated past, and someone saying genuinely cruel things about Hana, like they wanted to erase her from every social circle she'd ever been part of. The scene cuts back to the present, and Hana's face in the middle of the welcome party, glowing, while Ethan gets impatient with all the emotional energy in his very Ethan way. Afterward, the group sits around talking with Hana about places, food, and movies, and Hana, without catching herself, brings up the film little Ethan acted in as a kid. Ethan immediately shifts his whole posture like the spotlight just remembered he existed, and Owen mimics him just to get a reaction. Then they play rock, paper, scissors to decide who takes out the trash, and it lands on Hana. She pulls a giant plastic bag from her backpack, because her bag is genuinely a full survival kit. Kai is growing more charmed by her always prepared energy by the second. On the walk, Kai asks why she transferred to this school specifically. Hana explains that she likes management because the manager stays the closest to the artist, and that she wants to support her best friend's dream of becoming an actress. Kai listens to that with this look of pure admiration on his face. In another scene, Hana notices Kai's shoelace is loose and ties it for him. And he completely freezes up because he wanted to be the one doing the chivalrous thing here. Hana says with full confidence that one day she's going to become someone he can't imagine working without. In a professional sense, meaning she wants to be an indispensable manager. Kai, being the emotional softie he is, takes it in the most K-drama way imaginable. The next day after class, Hana, Ethan, and Kai are all waiting for the bus. Hana tries to start a conversation with questions, and Ethan cuts her off immediately, irritated, saying she talks way too much. Hana holds her ground. A manager needs to know everything about the artist. Kai jumps in and answers her questions instead of Ethan so she doesn't feel awkward about it. Meanwhile, Ethan runs into Ji and thanks her for helping Hana, even though Ji isn't exactly the type who does friendships. G explains she's obsessed with staying number one and can't afford anything breaking her focus, and that she's suspicious of a lot of people, because in her experience some people fake friendships while secretly hoping you crash. Ethan tries to get her to ease up, reminding her that nobody has to be perfect every single moment. But G still asks him to leave before her mom spots them together, because it would turn into a whole situation. In another scene, the very Kai thing happens where Ethan offers to do laundry and volunteers to wash Kai's sneakers too. Kai sprints to stop him, because those sneakers are untouchable. Hannah tied the laces on those. He's out here treating small moments like collector's items without even realizing it. The teacher then pivots to real-world application, telling students to track trending hashtags, post daily content, and announcing that whoever racks up the most views and followers lands in the top-tier group. She pushes G specifically to post at least 2 videos per week and to stick with it even when the numbers are slow. One student tries to call out the teacher for always zeroing in on G. The teacher ignores it and tells everyone to create their accounts and stop dragging their feet. Right after, the teacher pulls G aside privately and mentions the tuition payment is overdue, suggesting she talk to her mom about it. G gets embarrassed, apologizes, and slips out. She tries to text her mom but deletes it, because things between them are strained. Then Hannah, with absolutely no sense of timing, drops a comment about how G is lucky to not have problems like hers, and you can feel she's carrying something deep down, holding it quietly, without making it anyone else's issue. Hannah also starts worrying she's going to drag the group down by being inexperienced, and she wonders if Ethan and Kai are going to lose patience with her. G, who despite being cold has her moments, gives her actual useful tips on growing the account, starting with photos, and then building toward more engaging content. Hannah wants something that genuinely puts Ethan and Kai front and center, and G suggests day-in-the-life videos. Hannah locks in and starts researching how to produce faster, more polished content on her own. But then Maya shows up, queen of the unofficial fan club, with 2 friends physically blocking Hannah's path in the hallway, like they're bouncers at a private event. Maya says she's Ian's biggest fan, and wants Hannah to get a photo of the 2 of them for the project, because seeing them side by side is basically her dream. Hannah doesn't get why Maya doesn't just ask Ian herself, but Maya explains that Ian doesn't respond well to that kind of attention, and that with her grades, she has no real way to get anywhere near him. Just to get out of the situation, Hannah agrees. In the interview room, Hannah tries to bring up the photo with Ian. He finds the request strange, but then spots Maya and her crew up on the rooftop and immediately understands the whole play. He goes up, talks to Maya directly, and a flashback kicks in. Maya had tried the exact same manipulation tactic on G when G first joined the management department. But G is a tough cookie. She shut it down cold, went straight to the teacher to report the fan club for being in the wrong area, and Maya took off running. Back in the present, Ian takes the photo with Hannah, handles the situation cleanly, and sends Maya a very clear message to stop bothering people, or he's bringing G back as his official manager just to restore order. After that, Hannah pulls Ian and Kai together to plan out more engaging and charismatic content, because she figured out that engagement pushes material to younger audiences way faster than anything else. Ian acts like he wants no part of it, and Hannah, without catching herself, lets a more firm and take-charge professional side slip through. She catches it quickly and shifts back to her sweeter tone, explaining it's all for the good of the group. They start filming and Hannah moves around capturing Ethan and the others too, completely in the zone, so focused she nearly trips, and Kai catches her. Hannah doesn't put the camera down even to eat. She films everything and then edits it all herself, makes thumbnails, splits videos by person. And then the unexpected happens. The videos blow up. Views climb to insane numbers, coming in from multiple countries, and this becomes a defining moment for Hannah as a management student. She actually has real talent, and now everyone can see it. Ethan is completely asleep and misses the whole thing going down, and Kai is just happy because she's happy. They head to a bakery and come back to school. On the way back, there's a funny little detail full of bruised ego energy. Ian had left banana milk for Hannah with a note saying everyone saw the videos, but the second he finds out she went out with Kai, he throws the note in the trash and grabs a different drink. Like, you know what? Forget it. Hannah's name starts spreading around school. 2 girls are talking in the bathroom about how pretty she is and how good the videos are. But G is in a stall hearing every word, and the jealousy hits her square in the face because nobody is talking about her work. When Hannah comes in all excited and grabs G's arm the way she always does, G pulls her hand away, leaving Hannah standing there embarrassed. Hannah apologizes for startling her, and G snaps back and walks off. In class, Hannah tries to offer G snacks, but G is too deep in her head about how the new girl just passed her in views. She asks if Hannah plans to keep the series going, and Hannah confirms she will, as long as it keeps working. G leaves it hanging in the air that she's already regretting ever giving Hannah the idea. Then G takes all that frustration out on Ian and Kai, telling them they need to work harder and accusing them of not backing her up properly. Meanwhile, Maya is watching Ethan's videos and sends her girls to track Hannah down. They drag her over like some kind of squad, except Maya doesn't get physical. She just flips her whole tone, thanks Hannah for getting her what she wanted, and then slides over a full color-coded schedule expecting Hannah to basically manage every detail of Ethan's life like she's some kind of personal wish-granting service. The teacher posts the weekly ranking and praises Hannah for landing first place as a brand new student, reminding everyone that rankings come out every Friday. 2 girls are visibly shocked that Hannah grabbed the top spot and G dropped to second, and they rub it in G's face with some pretty pointed comments. G fires back that she's taking her spot back. Right after, she starts forcing Ian and Kai to memorize lines she wrote herself, all designed to pump up likes and followers. She gets more and more consumed by the jealousy, storms off, and Ian quietly asks Hannah to give G a little breathing room so things don't spiral worse. Hannah asks if G was ever actually her friend or if it was only about Ian from the start, and he doesn't answer. He just emphasizes how much her rankings mean to her. The next day Hannah arrives and finds G sitting next to someone else, deliberately blocking her usual seat. And to make it worse, G corners Maya in the bathroom and starts planting lies about Hannah going after Ethan. Claims the videos are some kind of romantic memory content, and invents a story about Hannah going to Ian's house. The goal is obvious. She wants Maya suspicious and on edge. Hannah just tries to keep going, finds her friends in the common room, and Ian walks in and notices a drawing she did. He asks about the situation between her and G, and Hannah says they're giving each other space. He asks what she really wants out of all of this. And Hannah says she wants friends who actually stick around, who support you and grow with you. Ian hands her a key from his childhood film, telling her it'll bring her luck, and she clips it onto her bag right next to Koza. But the happiness doesn't last, because Maya sets a trap, gets Hannah up to the rooftop alone, and accuses her of transferring schools specifically to get close to Ethan and using the videos as a cover story. Hannah goes quiet. Maya grabs Koza off her bag, drops it on the ground and breaks it. And that's when a side of Hannah nobody had seen before comes out. She looks straight at Maya with a calm that's almost scarier than anger and puts her in her place, telling her that before trying to demand someone's friendship, she should start by learning how to be a decent person. Maya panics, runs off, and immediately starts telling people Hannah must be some kind of powerful family's daughter. Because some people would honestly rather invent an explanation than admit they just got called out properly. Ethan was nearby, heard the whole thing, and is low-key, genuinely impressed by how she handled it. Afterward, Hannah shows up sewing Koza back together and goes straight back to filming with Ethan. The next scene is full K-drama energy. When Hannah tries to film Ethan outside, girls start screaming the second they spot him. Hannah suggests he wear something to blend in since he pulls a crowd without any effort at all, but Ethan handles it his way instead. He ties a blindfold over her eyes, takes her hand and leads her to a surprise he and Kai planned together, complete with warm drinks and food. They film, Kai joins in naturally. And Ethan tries to show a gentler side, because he gets that it plays better on camera. They joke around, splash water on each other, and the whole vibe turns light and easy. But the story nudges at Hannah's past again through a flashback that makes it clear she went through something genuinely heavy involving her best friend and Koza. The drama just wants you to understand one thing at this point. Hannah is carrying guilt, trauma, and an old secret that explains why she forces herself to smile all the time. Without going into the heavy details, it's the kind of past that leaves a person trying to hold it together on the outside, no matter what's falling apart inside. Back in the present, Ethan notices her smile looks strained, like she's trying to outrun something painful. Hannah explains that she had a best friend who was always laughing, and she wanted to learn how to smile like that. Ethan tells her she's going about it completely wrong and that she'd be better off just being herself instead of wearing a mask every day. In another moment, Ethan and Kai get into a whole petty standoff over gum, the kind of small beef that becomes a full event when two stubborn people both dig in. Hannah catches on, pulls gum out of her bag, and just fixes it because of course she has gum. Kai is fully gone over how thoughtful and prepared she always is, and Ethan clocks it and gets jealous, slamming the gum on the table like he needs to be seen. That part is honestly a little funny because Ethan clearly hates losing the most important person in the room energy, even when he pretends he doesn't care at all. Hannah calls her mom in a quiet moment, and G is seen in the background wandering around looking sad, feeding that darker, jealous side she can't seem to shake. The next day, Hannah decides to go ahead and try to make things right with G. She holds the lucky key, makes a little wish for good energy, runs up to G and holds out 2 energy drinks, all bright and warm. G responds cold, saying the day is already off to a bad start, because Hannah keeps pushing herself on someone who has made it clear they don't want to talk. Ian gets visibly annoyed at how rude G is being and tries to get her to just accept the gesture, but G doubles down, says something really cutting, calls Hannah selfish and tells her to back off entirely. Hannah is humiliated because she knows she did nothing to deserve any of that. G walks into class, sees the ranking with Hannah at the top for the 2nd week in a row, and it pushes her even deeper into resentment. In class, the teacher asks Hannah to explain what's been working for her after landing 1st place 2 weeks straight. The teacher also brings up that Ian and Kai must be getting flooded with messages from fans, and they both make it clear they don't open them. Hannah tries to answer carefully with G in mind, and even takes the chance to encourage everyone in the room to keep growing together. When class ends, Hannah tries one more time to connect with G, but G is already out the door. The guys try to put their heads together and find some kind of solution to the mess. And Kai breaks the tension by asking Hannah to come film them playing basketball. She goes and shoots it beautifully, making the video look genuinely compelling. But midway through the game, a loose ball comes flying straight at her, and Ethan steps in front of her and deflects it with his hand. That's all it takes. Maya internally spirals because she absolutely cannot handle even the idea of something existing between those two. She sends one of her girls to dig up Hannah's full name. She gets it. That night, Hannah lies awake thinking about Ian and what happened earlier, actively trying to talk herself out of catching feelings for him. The next day, she's walking with Ian and Kai and nearly gets clipped by a bike, and Ian pulls her back. Hannah starts to realize that if this keeps going the way it's going, she might fall for him, and that becomes its own entirely new problem to manage. She eats with Kai, starts feeling homesick, and brings up her friend. Kai tries to comfort her in Japanese, and Hannah's eyes fill up because he picks exactly the right words at exactly the right moment. Afterward, she goes with him to the house he shares with Ian to pick out outfits and film-style content. But then a message comes in from an unknown number asking if she knows someone named Koza. Hannah is visibly shaken on the spot, and it becomes clear this past is not staying in the past for much longer. The next day, a girl tells G the teacher wants to see her. The moment G steps out, the girl grabs G's phone. Something is being set up. When G arrives at the teacher's office, it's actually Maya waiting there, saying she hates Hannah and thinks she's hiding something. Maya reveals she dug up a news article from Japan about Hannah and an old case, says she downloaded it and posted it. The real bombshell drops when G sees the post came from her own profile, in her own group chat. Maya staged the whole thing to make G look like the one who did it. G completely loses it and breaks the phone in her hands. Back at school, Hana walks into the classroom and finds total chaos. Everyone glued to their phones, staring at her. When Hana understands what was just made public, she has no energy left to deal with anyone's commentary and runs out. Before she goes, she looks at G, and the disappointment on her face says everything without a single word, like she's quietly asking why this happened to her. The four guys scramble to piece together what went down. Ethan is ready to explode at G, but G holds the situation and lets Ian handle it. Ian is gutted because he trusted G completely. Meanwhile, Ethan and G run through the school trying to find Hannah. Hannah runs until she physically can't anymore and drops Koza. Ethan finds it and brings it back to her, and Hannah takes it without being able to look him in the eye. Then comes the final flashback, revealing that in the past, Hannah tried to stop her best friend from doing something irreversible. That friend's name was Koza. That's why she gave the stuffed animal that name. The memory ends, making one thing absolutely clear. This trauma is the root of everything. The transfer, the secret, the fear, the forced smile, and this constant need she has to be perfect and likable to everyone around her. And with that, this chapter of the drama closes. Hana exposed. G trapped inside her own jealousy. Maya revealed as the one who pulled the trigger on the whole public takedown. And the guys trying to hold the pieces together before the school turns into a full emotional war zone. Like this video, go watch the one showing up on your screen right now. See you there.